In a distant, forgotten land shrouded in mist, a one-eyed giant named Arctur is born atop a towering mountain. He is the last of the ancient giant race, entrusted with guarding the Forgotten Land, a realm holding ancient powers capable of destroying the world if they fall into the wrong hands. Arctur grows up in isolation, learning from his father, the last of the giants, how to wield his immense strength. Despite his massive size and power, Arctur has a gentle heart and possesses a unique gift. His single eye can see beyond the physical world, uncovering secrets hidden deep within the land. One fateful day, Arctur spots a group of humans setting up camp on the borders of the Forgotten Land. Despite his father's warnings to avoid humans, curiosity pulls him closer, eager to understand their purpose. The humans panic at the sight of the enormous giant, fear gripping their hearts. However, their leader, a wise scholar named Alexios, realizes that Arctur is not an enemy, but the guardian of the Forgotten Land. Alexios reveals that they seek ancient knowledge to save their kingdom from a looming catastrophe. Arctur warns Alexios that the ancient powers they seek are incredibly dangerous. But as Arctur listens to their plight, he begins to suspect that the catastrophe they fear may be tied to an ancient prophecy. Arctur returns to the mountain to consult his father about the prophecy, which foretells that the one-eyed giant will stand alone in a final battle to protect the world from a rising darkness. His father confirms that the time has come, and Arctur is the only one who can prevent the world's destruction. As Arctur contemplates the prophecy, a dark army led by the sinister sorcerer Morgus marches toward the Forgotten Land, seeking to claim its ancient powers. Arctur faces a critical decision: allow Alexios and his people into the land to help him, or face Morgus's forces alone. After much inner conflict, Arctur decides to form an uneasy alliance with Alexios and his group. He permits them to enter the Forgotten Land, but only if they swear to protect its secrets. Within the Forgotten Land, they discover an ancient gate that leads to a realm of unimaginable dark power. Morgus's army arrives and launches a brutal attack, and Arctur, along with the humans, fights fiercely to defend the gate. The battle is relentless, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. As the battle rages on, Arctur begins to tap into his true strength, the power inherited from his ancestors. His single eye glows with a radiant, mystical energy, capable of shattering Morgus's dark magic. With newfound power, Arctur decimates the enemy forces, turning the tide of battle. In a final desperate move, Morgus attempts to fully open the ancient gate, threatening to unleash a darkness that will consume the world. Arctur realizes the only way to stop Morgus is by sacrificing himself. In a heart-wrenching moment, he channels all of his power to seal the gate, ending Morgus's threat once and for all. On a dark night, the army of the Ifrits, led by the mighty Ifrit Salver, invades the Kingdom of Light. The king is slain, and Prince Eisen is captured along with his people and taken to the fiery mines. The prince is thrown into the darkness of the mine, surrounded by flames, with no hope of escape. As time passes, Eisen grows amidst the horrors of the mine, feeling his inner power increasing each day. In a moment of transformation, he breaks free from the magical chains, turning into a mighty merit. With his fiery wings, he flies away from the mine, beginning his journey toward freedom. Eisen returns to the ruins of his kingdom, now nothing but ashes. Among the rubble, he meets an old Jinni who survived by hiding in the nearby mountains. The Jinni tells him that the Ifrits have destroyed almost all of the Jinn's kingdoms, and only 3 remain, barely holding on. Realizing that the only hope for the survival of the Jinn is to unite the remaining 3 kingdoms, Eisen begins his journey to convince them to cooperate. He understands that if they remain divided, they will all be doomed to extinction. His first stop is the Kingdom of the Wind, located atop high mountains. Its inhabitants are flying jinn who believe their speed will save them. Aizen challenges their leader to a dangerous flying race to prove his strength and win their alliance. In the deep caves of the Kingdom of Shadows, jinn hide in secrecy, relying on ancient magic. Their leader doubts Aizen's abilities. He faces off against one of their strongest sorcerers in a magical duel, defeating him with his newfound Merid power, forcing them to join his cause. Aizen's journey leads him to the Kingdom of Lightning, which is under siege by the Ifrit armies. Realizing their dire need for help, Aizen leads a bold assault to break the siege. After witnessing his strength in battle, they agree to join the united front. With the three kingdoms now united, their leaders gather in an ancient hall to forge their alliance. Aizen swears that they will defeat the Ifrits and restore peace to the Jinn world. They begin preparing for a final, decisive battle. The united Jinn armies begin training together, combining the powers of wind, lightning, and shadows. Aizen crafts a plan to lure Zalvar into a final confrontation, warning that this is their last chance for survival. The Ifrit army is drawn into the Valley of Raging Winds, where the Jinn armies lie in wait. The trap is sprung with a surprise attack led by Aizen, using his fiery wings to devastate the enemies. The winds and lightning wreak havoc on the Ifrit forces. In the heart of the battle, Aizen confronts Zalvar in a fierce duel. Their clash is intense, with both using their tremendous powers. Aizen reveals a new ability, his control over both fire and sky, making the battle even more intense. After an epic struggle, Aizen manages to defeat Zalvar with a final fiery strike. The Ifrit army retreats, and the Jinn celebrate their hard-won victory, restoring peace to their world. After the battle, Aizen returns to the ashes of his kingdom. With the help of the united Jinn, they begin rebuilding the Kingdom of Light from the ruins, reviving its former glory and establishing a new era. Aizen is crowned king of the three united kingdoms. He vows that no Ifrit or Dark Force will ever threaten the Jinn world again. Thus begins the last era of the Jinn, with Aizen standing as a symbol of strength and unity.
Sinbad the sailor sits in his home in Baghdad, telling stories of his past adventures to eager listeners. Suddenly, he receives a mysterious message containing an ancient map leading to the legendary Blue Treasure Island. The letter claims that whoever finds this island will discover a treasure beyond imagination. Excited by the possibility, Sinbad gathers his crew and prepares his ship for a new adventure. Sinbad and his crew set sail under clear blue skies. As they sail into the open sea, dark storm clouds begin to form on the horizon. The captain shouts, "Brace yourselves! A storm is coming!" The crew scrambles to secure the ship as the winds howl and the waves rise. The violent storm tosses the ship back and forth, the waves towering over it. Sinbad and his crew fight bravely to keep the ship afloat, but they are eventually thrown onto the shores of a strange, unfamiliar island. Sinbad, shaken but unharmed, looks around and realizes that this is no ordinary island. As Sinbad and his crew explore the island, the ground suddenly starts to shake. A giant emerges from the forest, towering over them. They try to escape, but the giant captures Sinbad with his enormous hand. It seems like they've walked right into a deadly trap. Using his quick wit, Sinbad tricks the giant, promising to lead him to a hidden treasure on the island. The curious giant, intrigued by the offer, releases them, allowing Sinbad and his crew a chance to continue their search, though Sinbad knows the giant will return soon. Venturing deeper into the island, Sinbad and his crew discover a dark cave. Inside, glowing sea creatures swim in underground pools, guarding something valuable. Sinbad realizes that these creatures protect a giant pearl, but getting to it will be no easy task. Sinbad decides to dive deep into the cave's waters to retrieve the giant pearl. The water is filled with dangers and fierce underwater creatures. After a thrilling underwater battle, Sinbad finally manages to grab the pearl and bring it back to the surface. As Sinbad emerges from the cave, he is greeted by an enchanted mermaid. She reveals that the pearl is the key to finding the blue treasure, but to reach it, Sinbad must face even greater challenges at sea. With her guidance, Sinbad sets sail once again, determined to reach his goal. Out on the open ocean, a massive sea monster suddenly rises from the depths, blocking their path. The creature seems unstoppable, but Sinbad uses the magical pearl, which emits a bright light that calms the beast, allowing the ship to safely sail past. As they sail further, Sinbad and his crew spot a mysterious floating island high in the sky, shrouded in clouds. This is Wind Island, said to hold the key to the treasure. However, to reach it, they must navigate the powerful air currents swirling around the island. Using hot air balloons, Sinbad and his crew soar toward the floating island, but they are soon attacked by giant birds that try to knock them out of the sky. Sinbad engages in a thrilling aerial battle, using his wits and skill to fend off the birds and protect his crew. Upon landing on Wind Island, Sinbad and his crew find a hidden chamber filled with ancient treasures. At the center stands a golden statue of an ancient king, holding a glowing blue stone. Sinbad realizes that this blue gem is the legendary blue treasure they have been searching for. Just as Sinbad is about to claim the treasure, one of his crew members, secretly working for an evil merchant, tries to steal the blue treasure. A final battle ensues between Sinbad and the traitor, with Sinbad emerging victorious, thanks to the loyalty of his crew and his own bravery. After conquering every challenge, Sinbad and his crew sail back to Baghdad, the blue treasure in hand. However, the true treasure is not the gem, but the wisdom and courage Sinbad gained along the way. He is welcomed as a hero, ready to share his newest tale with the world.
In a village surrounded by myths, a brave warrior named Caldor hears tales of a legendary treasure hidden deep within the cursed Dark Mountain. Many have tried to claim it, but none have returned. Determined to break the curse and claim the treasure for himself, Caldor prepares for the perilous journey. Caldor climbs the treacherous path toward the peak of Dark Mountain. As he approaches, an eerie mist engulfs the trail, and strange, whispering winds fill the air. At the mountain summit, he finds a massive cave, the supposed entrance to the treasure's resting place. Inside the cave, Caldor walks deeper into the shadows, only to find a glowing, ancient time portal. Unable to resist its mysterious power, he steps through the portal, only to be violently pulled into a new realm. His vision fades as he loses consciousness. Caldor awakens on the shore of an unfamiliar sea, surrounded by jagged rocks and dark waters. The sky is red and strange, unsettling creatures lurk in the distance. He realizes he's not in his world anymore. His only thought, find a way back home. Caldor begins to explore this strange world filled with terrifying monsters, hulking beasts with razor-sharp claws, flying serpents, and massive, armored creatures. He narrowly survives his first few encounters, fighting for his life with only his sword and wits. While exploring a ruined city, Caldor meets a mysterious cloaked figure, an exiled scholar named Malik. Malik reveals that the only way out of this world is through an ancient portal hidden in the heart of the Obsidian Forest, a dangerous place controlled by the most fearsome creatures in the land. Caldor and Malik form a reluctant alliance and set off toward the Obsidian Forest. Along the way, they battle fearsome monsters, including a giant, fire-breathing hydra, and an army of undead warriors. As they travel, Caldor discovers that Malik knows more than he reveals about the portal and the secrets of this world. As they near the Obsidian Forest, Caldor realizes Malik has been using him to find the portal. Malik intends to claim its power for himself. A fierce battle ensues between the two, and Caldor narrowly escapes death, leaving Malik behind. Caldor enters the Obsidian Forest alone. He faces off against the Guardian of the Portal, a monstrous titan covered in obsidian armor. The battle is intense, with Caldor using every ounce of his strength and skill to defeat the giant creature. After slaying the Guardian, Caldor reaches the portal. Wounded and exhausted, He steps through the shimmering gate and is transported back to his world, standing once again at the entrance of the dark mountain cave. The treasure remains untouched, but Kaldor no longer desires it. Having survived the horrors of the monster world, Kaldor returns to his village a changed man. He knows that some treasures are not worth the cost of one's soul. However, the memories of the beasts, the battles, and the mysterious Malik haunt him. Jack, a young man seeking adventure, stands at the docks of Nantucket. The sea calls to him, promising freedom and excitement. With little money and a restless spirit, Jack signs up to join the crew of a whaling ship named the Liberty. On board, Jack meets a mysterious harpooner named Quinn, a tough but loyal man from the far-off islands. Though different in background, the two form a strong bond as they prepare for the dangerous journey ahead. The crew gathers to meet Captain Hale, a man hardened by years at sea. But Jack quickly realizes this voyage isn't a typical whaling trip. Hale reveals his true mission, to hunt the legendary white whale, Titan, the beast that cost him his leg and his sanity. As the ship sets sail, tension rises. The crew whispers of Titan's invincibility and Hale's obsession. Yet, the promise of a fortune for finding the whale keeps them in line, even as they sail into uncharted, stormy waters. Days stretch into weeks. The Liberty encounters small pods of whales, but Captain Hale is uninterested. His eyes are set on Titan. Jack and Quinn grow uneasy as Hale becomes more erratic, pushing the crew to exhaustion. A violent storm descends upon the Liberty. The crew battles to keep the ship afloat, their lives hanging by a thread. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Hale stands unshaken, convinced that the storm is leading them closer to Titan. The storm clears, and the crew spots something massive in the distance. Could it be Titan? As they give chase, the tension aboard reaches a breaking point. Captain Hale's commands grow more reckless, and Jack starts to question if Hale will lead them all to ruin. The crew finally catches up to the massive whale, but it's not Titan. In a deadly confrontation, the harpooners take down the beast, but not without cost. Several men are lost, and the grim reality of whaling sets in. Yet, Hale remains fixated on his goal. The crew begins to grumble. Hale's obsession is putting them all in danger, and some start to whisper about mutiny. Jack and Quinn find themselves caught between loyalty to their crewmates and their growing fear of the captain. One night, Jack experiences a terrifying vision. He dreams of Titan, the massive white whale, smashing through the hull of the Liberty. When he awakes, he finds Captain Hale staring at the horizon, claiming he can feel Titan's presence near. Without warning, Titan emerges from the deep. The crew is unprepared for the sheer size and power of the whale. In a terrifying clash, the boat is nearly destroyed. Titan vanishes as quickly as it appeared, leaving the Liberty crippled and the crew in shock. Captain Hale becomes more unhinged after the encounter, driving the crew relentlessly to repair the ship and continue the chase. Quinn warns Jack that if they don't stop Hale soon, none of them will survive. The crew edges closer to revolt. Weeks pass, and the Liberty limps through the ocean, following rumors and signs of Titan. Jack struggles with his own fear and guilt as Hale's madness deepens. But then, they receive word from a passing ship. Titan has been spotted nearby. The final showdown with Titan is inevitable. The Liberty closes in on the whale, and a battle of epic proportions unfolds. Harpoons fly, the ship groans under the force of the whale's attacks, and men are thrown into the sea as Titan fights for its life. Captain Hale, consumed by his desire for revenge, ignores the carnage around him. In a last-ditch effort, he launches a harpoon directly into Titan's back, but the whale retaliates with brutal force. The Liberty begins to sink as Hale faces the beast he's chased for years. As the sun sets in the ancient forest, the sorceress Elena walks gracefully among the towering trees, sensing the forest's magical energy in every step. Suddenly, she halts when she notices a strange glimmer through the thick foliage. Elena approaches cautiously to find a small creature resembling a mouse, but with shimmering wings. The creature flutters away quickly, and Elena decides to follow it. The creature leads her to a massive tree at the heart of the forest, where she discovers a hidden portal. With a mix of curiosity and determination, Elena steps through the portal, entering a new world filled with magic and extraordinary creatures. She is awed by the beauty of this realm, but a sense of looming danger creeps into her mind. In the center of this magical world, rumors abound of a fierce dragon named Draken, who is searching for an ancient stone that would grant him unparalleled power. Elena learns that the stone is hidden deep within the forest, and she realizes she is the only one who can stop Draken. As Elena journeys toward the stone, she encounters a group of magical guardians who believe she intends to steal it. They attack her, but Elena uses her power over plants to defeat them, understanding that the path ahead is fraught with peril. Elena and her newfound allies arrive at a shifting river that constantly changes its course. They realize they must solve a riddle to cross safely. With the cleverness of the dwarf in her group, they solve the riddle and successfully cross the river. As Elena draws closer to the stone's location, she meets more magical creatures. Some of them are not hostile, but rather seek a way to save their world. They join her on her quest, making her team even stronger. Finally, they reach the cave that houses the magical stone. The cave is protected by powerful spells and dangerous traps. Elena uses her intellect and magic to overcome the traps and gain entry to the cave. Inside the cave, Elena faces the dragon Draken. He unleashes his fiery breath, attempting to destroy the cave and reclaim the stone. Elena and her team fight valiantly, but Draken's power seems unbeatable. Elena realizes that the stone is not merely a weapon, but a key to restoring balance to the world. She uses the stone to release an immense energy that forces Draken to retreat temporarily, but the cave begins to collapse under the strain. Elena and her allies escape the collapsing cave just in time. They make it out and return to the outside world, but they know that Draken has not been defeated yet. Elena and her allies gather in the enchanted forest to devise a final plan to stop Draken for good. Elena realizes that the only solution is to use the stone to broker a deal with the dragon, offering him a portion of its power in exchange for his return to eternal slumber. In a final confrontation, Elena meets Draken in the skies above the forest. They negotiate with strength and magic, where intelligence meets might. Draken finally agrees to the bargain and returns to his deep sleep beneath the earth. After their victory, Elena and her team return to her cottage in the enchanted forest. The forest is now safe, but Elena knows that there are always new secrets to uncover and dangers to face. A group of scientists and explorers sets out on an expedition to the South Pole, searching for ancient traces or mysterious discoveries beneath the thick ice. The team is led by Dr. Omar, a renowned geologist, and Dr. Layla, a biologist specializing in ancient creatures. Equipped with the latest technology, they have no idea what they are about to uncover. While using advanced detection devices, the scientists discover a strange signal deep within the ice. The detection equipment points to a massive, non-metallic structure, piquing the team's curiosity. They decide to focus on this site and begin drilling deeper to extract whatever lies beneath. After days of continuous digging, the outline of a massive body starts to emerge, incredibly well preserved in the thick ice. The team realizes they have uncovered a complete dinosaur, frozen in place for millions of years. They begin transporting this rare find to their mobile lab for further study. In the lab, the scientists marvel at the dinosaur, preserved in an unprecedented state. Dr. Layla starts studying the structure and frozen cells of the creature, discovering that it appears to be in a state similar to deep hibernation. The team wonders if there's a chance that the dinosaur could still be alive. The team decides to slowly thaw the ice around the dinosaur to conduct more precise tests. They begin a complicated process to ensure the creature remains intact as the ice melts. They believe this would allow them to study the dinosaur inside and out in a way that had never been done before. While monitoring the dinosaur, one of the scientists notices a slight movement in the creature's tail. Everyone thinks it's a result of the thawing process, but as hours pass, the movement becomes more pronounced. Fear starts creeping into the minds of the team members. On a stormy night, as the team sleeps, something unexpected happens. The dinosaur suddenly opens its eyes, emitting strange sounds. Its massive body slowly rises as it realizes it has awakened in a world vastly different from its ancient realm. The enormous dinosaur begins moving inside the lab, smashing everything in its path. The team rushes to escape before the creature destroys everything. Dr. Layla sends an emergency call for help, but time is running out. The dinosaur breaks free from the shattered lab and begins wandering outside. It marches through the snow and ice, confused and enraged. The scientists attempt to contact the government and the military, but the dinosaur moves quickly, destroying everything in its way. As the team tries to survive, they find themselves trapped in a snow-covered region with no way out. The dinosaur heads toward a nearby small town. Time is slipping away, and they must make a quick decision to save as many lives as possible. The scientists come up with an idea to use modern technology to contain the dinosaur. Dr. Omar suggests using special sound waves to calm the creature and direct it to a specific location. Dr. Layla proposes using helicopters to guide it away from populated areas. The team begins executing their plan, but things don't go as planned. In the quiet town of Riverside, siblings Jack and Laura were playing in their backyard under the night sky. Suddenly, Jack spotted a strange, bright light moving quickly across the sky. It wasn't a plane or a shooting star. The mysterious object seemed to be heading towards Earth. Jack and Laura stared in disbelief, their hearts racing with a mix of fear and excitement. Far away in a hidden lab, Dr. Ethan Collins, renowned astrophysicist, received strange signals from deep space. He sensed a disaster was imminent. Rushing to gather his team, Dr. Collins sent an urgent message to the government. Aliens are coming. News spread quickly across TV screens and phones. Alien invasion imminent. Hours later, enormous alien spaceships descended over major cities like New York and Washington, as well as smaller towns like Riverside. Out of the ships came terrifying creatures, giant beings with metallic armor and advanced weapons. They began destroying everything in sight. Chaos ensued as people scrambled to flee. In Riverside, Jack and Laura teamed up with their tech-savvy friend, Eric. They decided to seek help from Dr. Collins, whose secret lab was hidden on the outskirts of town. Braving the destruction and avoiding alien patrols, the trio embarked on a dangerous journey. As they made their way toward Dr. Collins' lab, the group found themselves surrounded by alien scouts. Things looked grim, but thanks to Jack's knowledge of the local forests, he led them through a secret path. Using the dense trees to shield them from the invaders, they barely escaped the trap alive. When they arrived at the lab, Dr. Collins revealed his plan. He had developed a new weapon, a powerful electromagnetic device capable of disabling the aliens' advanced technology. The catch? The weapon wasn't fully complete and required a rare energy source stored in a secret facility in a distant city. Jack, Laura, Eric, and Dr. Collins set off toward the secret lab, knowing the aliens could attack at any moment. Along the way, they encountered ruined towns, alien drones, and desperate humans who had lost hope. Every step of the journey was a fight for survival. After days of perilous travel, the team finally reached the lab, only to discover that the aliens had already taken control of it. Their task became even more dangerous. Eric used his hacking skills to disable the facility's security system, allowing them to sneak inside unnoticed. Once inside the lab, the team was confronted by a group of powerful alien guards. Jack and Laura hid while Dr. Collins searched for the energy source. In a tense standoff, Eric managed to hack the alien shields, leaving them vulnerable. The group fought valiantly and defeated the aliens, but not without taking heavy damage. With the energy source in hand, the aliens began closing in on the facility. The group was trapped, but Jack devised a bold plan. By destroying one of the facility's main support columns, they created enough chaos to escape unnoticed amidst the collapsing structure. Back at Dr. Collins' lab, the team worked frantically to complete the weapon. Once finished, they realized it needed to be activated from a tall tower in the heart of the alien-occupied city. The task seemed impossible, but they had no other choice. The team reached the city center, where massive alien ships hovered above, casting shadows over the ruined streets. As the aliens attacked, Jack, Laura, and Eric fought with everything they had to protect the tower. Eric climbed the structure while Jack and Laura battled alien soldiers on the ground. In the heart of a radiant magical forest, the winged unicorn Ilarius gleamed with his white fur and golden horn, soaring through the sky in splendor. He was the sole protector of the forest and a beacon of hope for all creatures. But a looming danger approached on the horizon. One strange day, the sky turned a dark gray, the trees lost their colors, and the river became murky. The creatures trembled in fear, and Ilarius realized that a great evil had descended upon the forest. Ilarius knew he couldn't face the danger alone, so he gathered his loyal friends, the small dragon Flaxy and the luminous fairy Luna. They agreed to embark on a journey toward the Dark Mountains, the home of the evil Morlus. The journey led them through the darkened forest, where they faced fierce winds and moving trees trying to stop them. Every step was filled with challenges, but Ilarius and his friends pressed on with courage. In a dangerous swamp, terrifying monsters that fed on fear attacked the group. But thanks to Flaxy's bravery and fiery breath, they managed to escape doom and continue their path. As they neared the Dark Mountain, a powerful magical storm struck, draining Ilarius's magical energy. Luna used her magic wand to create a shield that protected everyone until the storm passed. They reached the mountain's peak where Morlus awaited them, a giant dark figure cloaked in thick shadow. He began the battle with a fierce assault, using his power to spread fear in their hearts. In a crucial moment, Ilarius decided to use the last drop of his magic. He soared into the sky amidst the darkness, aiming his golden horn at Morlus, lighting up the sky with an unstoppable, brilliant light. With the power of Ilarius's light, the darkness began to crumble, and Morlus slowly lost his strength. The darkened forest transformed into vibrant light and colors, and life returned to everything around them. The group returned to the forest, surrounded by magical creatures celebrating their triumphant return. They became heroes of the forest, restoring peace and serenity to every corner. Everyone spoke of Ilarius's bravery and his sacrifice for them. He became a symbol of protection and mercy, teaching all creatures the importance of unity in the face of evil. From that day forward, Ilarius and his friends lived in peace, guardians of the magical forest, protecting it from any danger that might threaten, ensuring it remained a land of light and magic forever. Nimrod started as a just ruler governing Babylon, a great city at the heart of ancient civilizations. His boundless ambition, however, soon revealed itself as he desired more than ruling over people. He sought absolute power to control both heaven and earth. Being an ordinary king was not enough. Nimrod yearned to become greater than any king the world had ever known. This dangerous ambition brought him closer to the world of darkness and magic. One dark night, Nimrod encountered the devil in the form of a mysterious man who offered him a deal. Driven by insatiable ambition, Nimrod accepted a pact with the devil to become the master of magic and evil on earth. Thus, he took his first steps toward ultimate power. Nimrod learned black magic from the devil, gaining supernatural powers enabling him to control nature and mankind. His power grew unprecedentedly, and he began using his magic to dominate Babylon, turning it into a center of dark sorcery. Creating an army of invincible demonic creatures, Nimrod used them to impose his rule through fear and terror. Babylon fell under the control of darkness, and Nimrod was worshipped as a god by his people due to his extraordinary powers. Embarking on expansion campaigns using his black magic and demonic army, Nimrod conquered distant lands and subjected other kingdoms to his rule. He became the king of the earth. As his power grew, so did Nimrod's arrogance. He challenged not only humans but also the Creator himself. Declaring himself divine, he forced people to worship him as an invincible god, revealing his increasing madness and pride. Secret rebellions among Babylonians and subjected kingdoms grew as heavenly signs of divine wrath appeared. Supernatural forces tried to stop Nimrod, but he remained defiant. Rebellions broke out. People, righteous sorcerers, and some subjected kingdoms joined forces to try to overthrow him. Yet, his demonic army and powerful magic made attempts futile. Prophet Abraham confronted Nimrod in Babylon. In this epic encounter, Nimrod refused to listen, further inciting divine wrath. Nimrod ordered the construction of a great tower to reach the sky and challenge God. The people were filled with terror at their king's enormous challenge. At the height of his arrogance, God sent a small mosquito that entered Nimrod's nose and settled in his skull, tormenting him unbearably. His power and sanity began to crumble. Living in constant agony, Nimrod could not eat or sleep. His growing weakness was evident. He became desperate to escape the torment, but remained captive to his pride. Descending into madness, Nimrod struck his head against walls, trying to relieve the pain to no avail. He transformed from a mighty king into a pitiful creature. Nimrod died pitifully, changing from the king of the earth to a worthless corpse. His death served as a warning to those who sought pacts with the devil or challenged the Creator. After his death, Babylon fell into chaos. The forces of evil Nimrod built vanished. His story endured as a warning across the ages to all who overstep their bounds seeking to ally with darkness. In a small village, Jack lives with his mother in extreme poverty. Their home is old and simple, and they only have a single cow that provides them with a little milk. Due to their difficult circumstances, Jack's mother decides to sell the cow to buy food. On his way to the market, Jack meets a mysterious trader who offers him a handful of glowing beans in exchange for the cow. Jack believes these beans might be an opportunity to improve their lives and agrees to the deal. When Jack returns home with the beans, his mother is furious, believing he has traded their cow for something worthless. She throws the beans out of the window in frustration. The next morning, Jack's mother discovers that the beans have grown into a giant beanstalk reaching up to the sky. Jack decides to climb the beanstalk to see what lies at the top. The beanstalk takes Jack to a magical world above the clouds, where he finds a colossal castle floating among the clouds. Jack is amazed by the breathtaking sights and the magical creatures living in this wondrous land. Jack discovers that the castle belongs to a fearsome giant named Grot, who rules over a magical kingdom with a powerful guard. The giant is terrifying and guards many treasures within the castle. Jack sneaks into the castle and discovers a vast treasure of gold and jewels. He steals a bag full of treasure and returns to the ground, but the giant discovers the theft and begins to chase him. The bag of gold is enough to improve Jack and his mother's life, but they find that money alone is not enough to completely change their situation. Jack decides to return to the castle to explore further. On his second visit, Jack finds something even more valuable, a magical heart capable of granting wishes. However, the giant discovers his presence again and pursues him fiercely. An epic battle ensues between Jack and the giant. Using the wish-granting heart given to him by the magical creatures, Jack defeats the giant and nullifies his magic. After defeating the giant, Jack discovers that the castle was holding magical creatures captive. He frees the magical beings such as the shimmering dragon, the dancing fairy, the golden bird, the ancient spirits, and the magical butterfly. They offer him magical gifts as rewards. Jack returns to Earth with the magical creatures, who help him improve the lives of the villagers. Agriculture flourishes, the economy prospers, and joy spreads throughout the village. A group of villains attempts to seize the treasures Jack has acquired. However, with the help of the magical creatures, Jack manages to defend his treasures and protect his village. The story concludes with peace returning to the village, and Jack and his mother's lives greatly improved. Their village becomes a thriving and joyful place, with Jack continuing to protect his family and village, living happily and prosperously.
Thousands of years ago, during the first time, there was a powerful sorcerer named Harris. Harris was the first to learn the secrets of necromancy and black magic, and he longed for immortality and escape from death. In pursuit of this ambition, he decided to master ancient dark magic and unleash a curse that would grant him eternal life and power. However, the curse came with a high price. He had to sacrifice his small village and everyone he loved. Despite the difficulty, Harris chose to move forward. He entered his father's old hut in the village and began the magical ritual. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and a violent storm swept through the village. Everyone died, struck by the curse. When they awoke, they found themselves transformed into strange creatures. Half of them had become vampires while the other half turned into werewolves. The curse had succeeded, but it had doomed them all. Harris became the first immortal vampire. Years after the chaos caused by Harris, Monner, one of his former followers, emerged. Monner, the most powerful sorcerer after Harris, felt deep regret for what had happened to his village and loved ones. Despite Harris's overwhelming power, Monner decided that Harris and the vampires had to be defeated. Monner did not seek immortality. He sought to restore balance. Monner gathered the remaining werewolves, who had been hiding in the forest since the curse. He convinced them that the only way to defeat Harris and restore control of the town, now ruled by the vampires, was to unite forces. Monner and the werewolf leaders began planning their assault. They knew that Harris had grown even stronger over time. Despite this, they were determined to face this evil, no matter the cost. They devised a meticulous plan and prepared to return to the town to confront Harris. Monner and the werewolves returned to the town that had once been their home. They saw the old hut where Harris had cast the curse still standing, as though it bore witness to the horrors of that fateful day. The town had changed, yet still carried echoes of the past. Now modernized, it had been quietly taken over by the vampires. The attack was planned for the night when the vampires would be at their weakest. On a dark night, the first battle between the werewolves and vampires erupted. Monner led the assault, wielding his powerful magic, while the werewolves fought fiercely. However, Harris had prepared a massive army of formidable vampires. The battle was brutal, but in the end, the werewolves were defeated. After the defeat, Monner and the werewolves fled back to the forests. They realized that Harris was stronger than they had anticipated, and that they needed even greater power to defeat him. Their plan required re-evaluation, and the next battle would need a new magical force. Monner began searching for a stronger magic. They knew there were hidden magical forces in the world, and perhaps they could find a new sorcerer to aid them. The journey was difficult, but they were determined to find a solution. While Monner and the werewolves hid in the forests, the vampires began to spread. They fed on humans in secret, living in the shadows, slowly taking over cities without anyone realizing. They became a terrifying legend told in horror stories. After years of searching, Monner met a powerful sorcerer named Leo. Leo possessed mysterious magical abilities and was impressed by Monner and the werewolves' courage. He agreed to join them and help in the fight against Harris and the vampires. They began forming a new army of werewolves and human allies to confront the evil. The werewolves and sorcerer Leo returned to the town, ready for a decisive battle against Harris. In this fight, all hope was placed on Monner and Leo. A fierce battle erupted, but Harris was still too powerful. Despite using all their strength, Harris defeated Monner once again.
In a vast, lush forest, a powerful lion named Leo reigns supreme. Known as the king of the forest, Leo is respected and feared by all the animals for his immense strength and regal demeanor. However, despite his fearsome reputation, Leo is often lonely, as his power makes it difficult for him to form genuine friendships. One day, a cunning fox named Finn enters the forest, drawn by tales of the great Lion King. Finn is known throughout the land for his sharp wit and cleverness, and he seeks to test his skills against the mighty Leo. He approaches the lion's den with both trepidation and excitement. Leo, intrigued by the fox's reputation, welcomes Finn to his den. The two engage in a conversation where Finn shows off his cleverness with riddles and stories. Leo, though initially skeptical, is impressed by the fox's intelligence and begins to appreciate the value of wisdom alongside strength. Leo proposes a challenge to Finn. If the fox can solve a riddle, he will earn the right to stay in the forest as Leo's advisor. The riddle is complex, testing Finn's wits and knowledge of the forest. Finn, confident in his abilities, accepts the challenge with enthusiasm. Leo's riddle is about the nature of power and the harmony of the forest. Finn spends the night contemplating the answer, wandering through the forest, and observing the interactions among the animals. He realizes that true power lies not in domination but in balance and harmony. The next day, Finn returns to Leo with the answer. He explains that the forest's strength comes from the unity of its creatures and the balance of nature, not from any single individual's power. Leo is deeply moved by Finn's insight, recognizing the truth in his words. Impressed by Finn's wisdom, Leo invites him to stay in the forest as his advisor. Together, they work to improve the kingdom, using Finn's clever strategies to foster cooperation and understanding among the animals. Leo and Finn become close friends, each learning from the other. One day, a rival lion from another forest challenges Leo to a battle for supremacy. Finn advises Leo on a strategic approach, emphasizing the importance of diplomacy and strategy over brute force. Leo, following Finn's counsel, successfully defends his kingdom without a single drop of bloodshed. With the rival lion defeated and peace restored, Leo and Finn's friendship grows even stronger. The forest kingdom flourishes under their combined leadership, with Leo's strength and Finn's wisdom creating a harmonious and prosperous realm. Years pass, and Leo and Finn's story becomes a legend in the forest. The tale of the lion and the fox teaches future generations that true leadership combines both strength and wisdom. The forest remains a beacon of unity and balance, a testament to the power of cooperation and mutual respect.